Good morning, Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. This is the Clay Edwards Show, and the Clay Edwards Show starts now. It is Thursday, July 14th. Happy birthday to my wife. I think she turns 25 today. That's what we'll say, 25. Happy birthday to Crystal. As young as ever. So if you want to call in this morning, we're going to wait a minute on the phone calls. I want to get through this first segment first, but the Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line is 601-879-0002. The Guns and Gear text line 769-241-1944. All right, so when I left here yesterday, I got a tip from a buddy of mine over at JPD that 3 guys had been shot trying to carjack not an off-duty, but an unmarked, on-duty police car. And the information, albeit was correct in the sense that there was somebody that tried to carjack a cop, the numbers were a little off, so I want to correct that here. Because I went kind of viral. My video between Instagram and Facebook got a lot of views yesterday about it. So I just want to straighten up. Here's what ended up happening. This story is on darkhorsepressnow.com. So the police say a man attempted to steal an unmarked police car on Friday and was shot by officers. According to WLBT, the incident occurred around Jacksonian Plaza Friday. Antrez Davis and James Thompson were arrested Friday and charged with aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer, attempted auto burglary, and shooting into an occupied vehicle. And these are some geniuses. Police told WLBT that Davis and Thompson pulled up to the officer's unmarked Dodge Charger during a burglary suppression operation. And one of them got out of the vehicle and started trying to open the door. Reportedly, as Davis tried to open the car door, the officer inside announced himself as a police officer. Full stop. This is where it gets really stupid. Okay, back to reading. Davis opened fire on the cop after he announced that he was a cop. Davis hit the police car, and the officer fired back, striking Davis. The condition of the suspect is unclear. The case is being investigated by the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation and JPD. Okay, so a couple things here. There was 2 suspects, and how stupid can you be? Never mind some hood rat in Jackson trying to steal a Dodge Charger. That's a given. That is their favorite car in the world, is a Dodge Charger. They love those. Challengers and Chargers. They love Dodges. I don't know if it started with Boosie back in the day, talking about Dodge Chargers, y'all's cost 30, mine cost 40. Don't even ask me how I know that. But then when the guy says JPD, officer, your initial reaction is to shoot him? Oh, that's a different kind of stupid. That is a different kind of stupid. I got to wonder if this child isn't a product of some type of incest or something. He's missing something, ain't all the way there. When the cop says I'm a cop and you shoot at him, I mean, attempted auto burglary, then shooting at a cop. Oh my God. Brain dead. But this tells you what we're dealing with out here in Jackson, Mississippi. And here's something else I find very interesting is the fact that this happened Friday night on the 8th. We got all the way to the late afternoon of the 13th before like the mainstream news picked up on this story. Even the police officer that sent me the information thought it had happened the night before. They kept this thing buttoned up for 5 days. For 5 days. Well, 4 days. No, yeah, 5. 5 days for the most part. I guess it started leaking internally 4 days later. But it was day 5 before this started leaking to the media. And yours truly broke the story. We were the first media outlet, or whatever you want to call me, the Save Jackson platform. Whatever you want to call us, we were the first one to report it. Got the details a little wrong. I'll be the first to admit it. But the gist of it was correct. An idiot tried to tried to carjack an unmarked cop car. Whew. You know, even if you just take that out of it. But when he said, I'm a cop, and he identified himself, and your first reaction was to shoot. Absolute stupidity. This is where I get in trouble with a lot of my black listeners. And I'm not talking to you. If you listen to this show, you're typically a good people. I'm not talking to you, but there's some kind of cultural rot going on inside these urban Democrat black cities, that this kind of behavior, this isn't rare. This happens all the time. I don't know. Did y'all see the video of the little black toddlers up in Minnesota in their underwear, kicking and cussing and throwing rocks at the cops the other day? I mean, I can't even play the video of toddlers here on the show for the audio because they're cussing and using the F word and calling them crackers and stuff like that, which I'll say crackers. I'm a salty cracker myself. I get it. But man, what is going on? What is going on? I don't want to steal this line. I talk about listening to Jason Whitlock. He does a show on YouTube. He was with the Blaze. Y'all know Jason. He's been around for a long time. He said it best. When he says we, he's referring to the black community in America. He says, we are radicalizing not just our children, but our babies with this anti-police St. George Floyd nonsense. This is no different than what Al-Qaeda was doing to people and ISIS. They're radicalizing people from birth to hate another group of people. I mean, I wasn't alive in the 40s, 50s, and 60s in Mississippi when the Klan was running rampant and all the hatred and stuff and all the racism. But I have to imagine wasn't a whole lot different then. White babies born into rural white families that were racist, and they were probably raised to hate black people. I bless every day that my parents didn't raise me like that. I never, on the Bible, never once in my house did I ever hear the N-word come out of either one of my parents' mouths. Ever. On the Bible. Hell, my dad owned the store on Lynch Street. I mean, I grew up in the middle of Jackson. On Lynch Street. Lynch Street, it wasn't like it was a white area that they went and built a store on and it changed over to black. Lynch Street's always been, a rather black area with Jackson State down there. I mean, they opened that thing up, I think, in the 60s. It stayed through the 70s, 80s, all the way to the 90s. Some of y'all know it as Bowles Corbett. Some of y'all know it as a shortstop. Some of y'all call it the juice store because it was the first place in town you can go get draft beer. Everybody remembers them having that Killian's Red on draft. You buy it by the cup before they had the open container law, and then you could get it by the gallons and half gallons. I was 10 years old. I guess I could say this. I was 10 years old standing on a milk crate learning how to pour draft beer in gallons and half gallons and sell to folks. We had the first Chester Fried store in Jackson doing the fried chicken and all that. And that's all I grew up around. We didn't even talk politics in my house. The first political conversation I remember being in my house was after Bill Clinton got elected. I remember my mom saying something and she didn't like Bill Clinton. And, but that's the first time that was 92. I was already 15 years old by the time I ever heard anything political in my house. Was it 92? Whenever Bill Clinton got elected the first time. I think it was 92. Yeah, because Bush was 88 to 92. So it would have been 93, I guess January of 93 when he took the office. But anyway, I'm getting a little off track here. But what's going on in Jackson and these Democrat cities like Jackson and Minnesota and Atlanta, it's a cultural rot. Look, y'all are, again, I'm going to make some people mad here, but this is just a statistic that I saw. 80% of African-American babies, black babies, whatever you prefer to be called, are born into fatherless homes. 80%. That's the number they report. And if you know, like I know, they typically try to make these numbers not look as bad. But let's just say the number's 80%, not 85 or 90%. This is the inevitable conclusion or path, whatever your choice of words would be, of growing up in fatherless homes. You need a man in the house. You need a fatherly figure for boys and girls in the house. I was listening to Jason Whitlock again, and he had Shamika Michelle on there, a black lady, and she was not raised by her father. She was raised by a single mother. She's a great girl. I mean, she came out just fine, and there's plenty of single mothers out there that do a great job. But you need a man in the house. But she was telling a story about her and her husband and her daughters, and he always calls his daughter. She's got 2 young daughters. He always calls them pretty girl. What's my pretty girl doing? My pretty girl. He called another little girl pretty girl, and they got visibly upset and started crying that their daddy called another girl pretty girl. And she had this blinding realization. She goes, I never got to experience what it was like my daddy calling me pretty girl, or getting upset that he referred to somebody else as pretty girl. We always think about the man in the house molding young men into men, but not always about what they do for our daughters, other than certain little things. But I don't know, that really hit me for some reason. And, we're missing a lot of that. And, when you stroll through your Instagram feed or your Twitter feed or TikTok or Facebook or whatever, and you see a group of people that are, look, man, I know some of y'all are at least 40 because you partied in my clubs and you were the same age as me. And you're still pee-popping on a handstand and twerking on video, and every pic you got of yourself is your butt facing the camera with your head turned back. It's just, I have to wonder, do you not have a relationship with your father? Because I know there's some things that my daughter wouldn't want me to see, and most daughters wouldn't want their father to see. And that the over-sexualization type stuff has to be that. That's typically the first thing. All right, look, we're going to take a break. We're going to have Anson B. Walker doing our weekly Walker lifestyle segment. If you're watching on Facebook Live, tune in to the radio, 103.9 WYAB, or check us out on the TuneIn app. Just go type WYAB, or if you want to stream it on the website, we have our website, WYAB.com. This is the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. Welcome into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment is going to be brought to you by our friends over at Take a Break Deliveries. Take a Break Deliveries is going to be leaving the show for a little while, man, but I still want you guys to continue to support Keith and his team. And look, man, I know with gas prices and the Biden inflation and Bidenomics and everything that Joe Biden has brought on America, it's hard to run a small business right now. That is why it's so important for you guys to support small businesses. I'm a small business owner. I completely understand and relate. Times have been hard. But look, Take a Break Deliveries. Get out your phone. Go to your favorite app store of choice, whether you got Google or Apple or whatever. Download the Take a Break Deliveries app, or bookmark their website on your browser, takeabreakdeliveries.com. They're locally owned, veteran-owned food delivery service, but they're more than food. They can deliver beer, liquor, wherever it's applicable legally. And use them. I highly implore it. Highly implore. They send out a promo code every day that you can use to save a few bucks. Save about a gallon's worth of gas on your order. That's kind of how it works out there. They $3, $4, sometimes it's $5. So again, Take a Break Deliveries. They wait on the food. The food doesn't wait on them. Always hot, always ready. They only allow their drivers to take one order at a time. So your order's not sitting on the back seat being the third or fourth delivery. in a chain of deliveries. That makes a difference, especially when you order something like pizza, and you don't want it all soggy. You like crispy. You want your pizza crispy. Anyway, so we thank Take a Break Deliveries for supporting the Clay Edwards Show and WYAB, and we hope you will continue to support them, whether they're on here or not. So we hope they come back soon. All right, I am joined in studio. It's that time. It is Anson B. Walker, the WalkerLifestyle.com, fitness instructor, training instructor over at Stark Fitness. Anson, how are you, brother?
Bro, I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm proud of myself. I had the right mic turned on this time.
Well, you're on a roll this morning.
I try, man. We talk about culture a lot, and we talk about what's going on in these communities. And when you live as close as we live to Jackson, you can't help but be affected by it. It drives people out of Jackson to the other areas. It makes finding houses or apartments in the suburbs a lot harder, makes them a lot more expensive. I mean, those are just little trickle-down things. Yeah. That crime in Jackson, how it affects areas around it. I mean, sometimes I wonder, does the city of Jackson, mayor's office and city council, they are the Convention and Visitors Bureau for the suburbs. They are. I mean, if Madison or Rankin County have a CVB, Convention and Visitors Bureau, CVB, they're wasting their money, because the city of Jackson is the best advertisement for those places, and it starts at home.
Yeah. Your first segment, you're talking about the guys breaking into the unmarked cop car after identified himself, and I replay something in my head, and it's called, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And that's what Jackson has been doing for now. We're talking 30 plus years. We really are. And I don't understand it. I guess I'm just not wired that way. I guess I was raised like you're talking about how your parents raised you, and I think that's awesome. I was raised the same way, but I was taught accountability, man. Responsible for my own actions. If I screwed up, I was going to pay the penalty. And that's not the case in Jackson. That's not the case. When you commit a crime, you don't necessarily do the time, because judges there are setting people free all the time. I mean, I hear about it from my buddies who are deputy sheriffs in Madison County. When they arrest somebody, if it happens they finally pull them over in Hinds County, they're back on the street soon. And it's just, so I don't know. I don't really have an answer other than, Clay, the only time I go to Jackson is when I'm going to Hattiesburg. That's how I answer that. I don't do anything in Jackson. I'm not trying to beat down Jackson, but why would I subject myself or my loved ones to anything in Jackson? Why?
Well, exactly. And I tell people, a lot of people think I moved out of Jackson because of the water. And that was the icing on the cake, the cherry on top of the icing.
Yeah.
Even. There was already icing on the cake, but that was the cherry on top of the top. I moved out of Jackson because I got to thinking that if I have to defend myself and I have to eradicate one of these fools for trying to eradicate me, do I think I would get a fair trial because of the color of my skin and my political affiliations? And I honestly do not think in the Hinds County judicial system that Clay Edwards would get a fair shot. I would go to jail for defending myself, and because I've seen them try to do it to other people who were defending themselves, white guys that had to shoot a black guy.
Yeah.
For defending themselves, or they're stealing their property. It would happen to that guy over there on East McDowell Road at one of those businesses over there a couple of years ago. A little black kid tried to break in his car, and then he came outside to run him off, and the kid attacked him. Yeah, and he shot him and killed him. And man, they charged him with murder, and he got off of it, but he lost everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just looked at that, and that kept haunting me. Thinking, and there's clear video of what happened. Yeah. And the former Robert Schuler Smith that just died, former DA. Anyway, he pursued it and ruined this man's life. Yeah. Over woke social justice nonsense. Yeah.
No, man, it's just some of this stuff. I just I can't comprehend that type of behavior. I don't approve of that type of behavior, and I'm not going to subject myself to that type of behavior when I can live somewhere else. And so, and I choose to, and I feel sorry for business owners in Jackson, man. I really do. That's an uphill battle, dude. And you got the cards are stacked against you. And I don't care if you're a black owned business or a white owned business, the cards are stacked against you in Jackson. And I'm just not going to live like that, man.
Just based on the infrastructure alone.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, the infrastructure don't care if you're a white business or a
No.
black business or a Hispanic business or anything else. The water sucks.
Well, the last time I had to run an errand in downtown Jackson was 3 or 4 years ago when I'm not going to the VA, but that's not really downtown Jackson. But it was to get my uncle something at his place of business. It was close to the Coliseum. And, dude, I about flipped my Jeep driving down those roads, dude. So that's that was 4 years ago. And, so, I don't have any words for it.
I saw where a water main broke in the Fondren area yesterday, and the road is rippled.
Yeah.
It looks like the whoop-de-doos on a dirt bike track.
Yeah.
All right, man. On the Matt Kike of Flowood phone line, we have got Derek calling in this morning. Hey, good morning, Derek.
Hey, good morning, my friend. Hey, I just wanted to remind you guys, put something on your mind real quick. I'm by every stretch of imagination an outsider to the metro area because I come from East Central Mississippi. Right. I met my wife in Canton. We lived in Canton for a little while until we decided to buy our first home, which we did here on the reservoir. But you guys, again, my wife was a widow, and so we're just one big blended family. So when most men don't hit their financial stride to their late 30s, early 40s. So when we start hitting our financial stride and we decide to buy a home, seeing everything that we see in person as well as on the news, how can the leaders of Jackson expect me to even consider Jackson as a viable market?
Yeah.
They don't understand basic economics. The law of supply and demand. When I look at this stuff, do you really think Jackson was on my radar? When I got kids, a blended family with children who are bright minds, right?
Yeah.
Who want to be at school and should be at school, but have to be forced to go in the city of Jackson by kids who don't need to be there and shouldn't be there. Do you really think I was going to buy a house there?
We should definitely have school choice, but that's a whole nother show.
Yeah, and that's a rhetorical question, Derek. I agree with you 100%, brother. I do. I get it, man. I'm from Canton, Brian. I get it.
Canton was a pretty good place to live. Canton wasn't that bad.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Because they only got 2 of the 4 catalysts necessary for high crime, which is a corrupt government and terrible education system.
Right.
But, again, that's another show.
Yeah.
But I'll go a little further. Take the zoo fight, for instance. Somebody asked me, well, Derek, you've been living in Rankin. What do you think about this whole thing? I said, pure conjecture at this point, but let me reason with you. Because, the Bible tells us, let's reason together, right?
Yeah.
And I said, I said I have a choice. Either I can come over there to what's that called, West Jackson.
Yeah.
West Jackson.
I can come over there, risk my car getting broke in or getting robbed or whatever.
Yeah.
Or I could just get up out of my bed and walk down the street and be right under the safari zoo. Which one do you think I'm going to pick?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt about it.
No, I totally get it.
Hey, Derek, we got to go, brother. I appreciate you.
Uh-huh.
All right. Let's take one last phone call real quick before we jump into our Walker Lifestyle segment and take a break. Hey, you're on there. Hey, you're on there. Hey, good morning. You're on there.
Clay.
Hey.
Hey, man, I heard you talking about mothers and raising kids. And I want to say something. And this is probably going to make people mad, but so be it. I got a kind of late start, and I think you probably restarted, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these women that are single, I don't know why. It seemed like it was a prestigious thing to say they were a single mother.
No, you know what? I agree.
And I'll be honest with you. People get mad at half the time it's their fault.
Well, if you just take it back to going and getting knocked up by somebody you're not married to, or even dating, or leaving the person that you were with and becoming. And I know there's some single moms out there that are widows and this, that, and the other. By no means
there are.
There's good folks I ain't talking to.
It's their own fault.
Yep.
And they want to brag. They think it's a prestige thing or it's a great thing to say, I'm a single mother.
Well, the government welfare system rewards the man not being in the house. They get more money.
Clay, it was very professional women that I saw that was too. Now, I knew some that had adopted kids because they had never gotten married.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But I'm just telling you, I knew of all walks of life, especially some of them little yuppies, Northeast Jackson, Madison females would always say, I'm a single mother. Like I said, it was like, I guess they equivalent to having a PhD or something. Like they were proud of it.
It's a good point, man.
Nothing to be proud of.
No.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
But hey, y'all have a good day.
Hey, you too, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Right. All right, man, we're going to take a break real quick, come back, see what Anson's up to, talk a little health and fitness here on the Clay Edwards Show with Anson B. Walker, right here on 103.9 WYAB.
Thanks for listening. Tune in tomorrow at 7 a.m. as the Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.